Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your good pal Ghosty, and today I wanted to have a bit of a more educational video, and I wanted to talk to you about something called functional neurological disorder, aka FND. It's a condition that I have, and a lot of other people have too, and I wanted to give you some information that I learned about it. So, disclaimer, I am not a psychologist or a neurologist, and I am no expert on anything of the sorts. So, I'm just giving you the information that I know and what I experience. So, this video is not to diagnose anyone. If you are experiencing symptoms or have a story similar to mine, then talk to your doctor and see if this might be the thing that you're suffering with. But yeah. Also, the disorder affects everyone differently. I'm going more based off of how it affects me and my life with it. So if someone else is talking about it and experiencing it in a different way, it doesn't mean anyone's faking it. It shows up in different ways for everyone, in more severe cases and less severe cases. But Ghosty, what's FND? I've never heard of that before. Well, functional neurological disorder, or FND, is a neurological condition that affects the way the brain sends and receives signals to the nervous system. It was originally thought to be a psychological issue and was originally called conversion disorder, but that is now an outdated term because of the more recent research that has been done on it. FND is super understudied and not well understood by researchers because there hasn't been a lot of research done on it, but slowly and surely they are doing more research on it, and hopefully they'll learn more about it and it becomes less stigmatized because there's a lot of stigma surrounding FND at the current moment. So the way FND works is that it is considered a software problem and not a hardware problem with the brain. So think of it like a computer. If your computer has a hardware issue, that means that there's something wrong with the components, the physical components of the computer. Whereas if it were a software issue, it has something with how the computer operates and the programming of that computer. So one of the biggest ways to pinpoint that someone might be suffering with FND is that all the neurological tests that someone gets done, or even any other medical test, normally come back perfectly fine. They look like nothing's wrong with them. So what kind of symptoms will someone with FND experience? Well, there's a variety of symptoms that someone with FND will experience depending on what their personal experience is like. However, some symptoms include non-epileptic seizures, paralysis, speech difficulties, tremors, dystonia, tics, stuff like that. Movement and cognitive issues. I experience a lot of FND symptoms both daily and during flare-ups. During my normal day-to-day life, my symptoms are a lot easier to manage. They're still very disruptive in my life, but they're easier to manage. But daily, I experience absent seizures, which are seizures that look like someone is just staring off into space. I experience tics. I experience weakness, especially in my legs. I have a lot of weakness in my legs, and it makes it hard to go long distances walking. I have memory issues and brain fog and chronic fatigue that I experience daily that are big. On flare-up days, I experience more intense seizures, non-epileptic seizures, but still seizures nonetheless. I experience extreme weakness where sometimes I might even go into a catatonic state, which is where you can't move your body at all and you're just stuck like that. Paralysis in my arms or legs. Dystonia, which is the tightening of muscles, and it contorts your body into different positions that are very odd and very painful. For example, my wrists will curl up like this and tighten, and you can't move it no matter how much you try. Like, you can't force it like this. They get stuck like that, and you can't move it until your body just decides that it wants to relax itself. So what causes flare-ups? Sometimes it's really hard to pinpoint what causes a flare-up because there's so many different factors that go into it. But for me personally, simple things as getting a cold, or being on my feet too long, or walking long distances, or being too hot, all of those things can really trigger my FND and all my symptoms that go along with it. My body is really sensitive to everything around me and everything I do, so I have to be really careful about what I do and pick and choose what I decide I want to participate in, because it can lead to a flare-up, which can leave me bedridden for days, or just make my life a lot harder. But one of the biggest things that helps me is using mobility aids. I've got multiple mobility aids that I'll probably do a video on later down the line. But I use a cane, I use a walker, like a rollator, and I use a wheelchair. And I use these all on different types of days. So my cane I'll probably use just like on a regular day, when I don't feel like lugging around a big heavy mobility aid and my symptoms aren't too bad. My rollator is for days I'm a bit weaker, but I can still walk and I want to move my legs and try to walk as normally as possible, or times where I'm weak and I'll need a seat at some point, but we're not going too far. And then my wheelchair is the best for if I have someone with me, especially because sometimes I get weak when I'm pushing myself. I recently got an electric wheelchair, but I haven't been able to use it yet because I don't have a hitch on my car, so I can't take it anywhere. So I'm currently trying to get the funds to buy a hitch for my car so that I can take my electric wheelchair places, because I think that'll give me a lot of freedom too. But my manual wheelchair is really good if I'm going longer distances indoors, especially indoors, because it's really hard to do it if you're outdoors, unless you have someone with you. Yeah, so all my mobility aids help me in different ways, and I use them based off of what I need during that day. Sometimes I don't use a mobility aid at all, and I'm perfectly able-bodied, but other days I need more assistance. Mobility aids also help me to both lessen my symptoms and also help me when my symptoms are present. So if I'm super fatigued or having a paralysis issue, I'm not stuck inside the house. I can still participate in activities, even if I'm not feeling my best. So I often get told that I'm faking my illness and my symptoms for attention, and I really dislike that, and I really hate when I hear people talking like that about other people too, because I know how horrible it feels. I hate when people fake claim others, and it really bothers me sometimes because I've lost a lot because of my illness. I have issues in relationships. I have lost jobs. I can't go to school full time because I just can't keep up with the normal day-to-day routine. There are some days I can't even do normal day-to-day activities that I need to do because of my FND, and it's really changed the way that I've had to look at doing things and the way I view life itself. It sucks too because I have to rely on people more. I used to be super duper independent and not wanting help from other people, not accepting help from other people. And now I rely on my parents 100% for financial aid and housing and food and taking care of me when I get into flare-ups. And it's just really hard to have to deal with that when I'm 21 years old and should be out living a 21-year-old's life, working, going to school, making friends, all of that. Not being able to graduate or make friends within school has been a big challenge on me of acceptance, and I finally have come around to accepting that that's just probably not the path for me, and it still bothers me to this day. And when I see my friends who are about to graduate, and when they do graduate, it'll be another hurdle I'll have to overcome because it's gonna be really hard because I was supposed to graduate with them, and it just sucks. What I'm trying to say is, if someone comes to you about a disability or a struggle they might have, anything that they come to you with, give them the benefit of the doubt. Try to believe them, and don't discourage them from coming to you with this kind of information, because you may be the only person they trust with this type of thing. You might be the only one who actually believes them and can help them. I want to be an advocate for people like me who haven't been believed and have issues that makes them feel very weak and small. I'm going to start doing a lot more advocacy and educational videos like this on my page, I think, because it's something that is really important to me and I think is good for people to hear and learn about. And if you are experiencing something like this and you have all these symptoms and no one knows why, and for some reason there's people who don't believe you and think you're doing it all for attention, you will know if you're doing it for attention. Trust me. I have asked doctors in the past, because of how much I've been told I've been faking it, that I've literally asked doctors about it, and they tell me, you will know if you are doing it for attention. It's not something you just do subconsciously. So, your pain is valid, and your struggles are valid, and your story deserves to be heard and believed. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night or whatever time it is, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!